Episode 3 of Two Stoics. My name's Doug Hofstrom. I'm with my fellow Stoic, Matthew Hunter, and I've been up since 4:30 in the morning. I trained. It's now 7:30 in the morning, and we are now going to talk about how we can live a beautiful and meaningful life. But before we get into that, Matthew has a correction that he would like to make everyone from last week's episode.
Yep. I apologize. So last episode, I couldn't remember one of the guys' names, and so I went and looked it up, and his name's Xenophon, and this is
that different from Zeno?
Yep, it's different.
Zeno and Xenophon.
Yeah, yep, and because there's Zeno, that was the guy that got shipwrecked, the really wealthy guy that got shipwrecked, that is credited to starting Stoicism, and because he was in a library and he was reading a book, and the book was Xenophon, which he was a Greek warrior and philosopher, and he studied under Socrates, and the book he was Zeno was reading at the time was a book from Xenophon about Socrates. And
Zeno reading about Xenophon.
Yeah,
it's a tongue twister.
Yeah, right. And so that's who he saw in the street when he asked the bookkeeper or the owner of the bookstore, like, "Oh, who wrote this? And who, where do I find this guy?" And that's who was walking down the street, and the bookkeeper pointed him out and was like, "Oh, that guy's right there. His name's Xenophon." And then Zeno chased him down and started talking to him, and then they walked to technically the gymnasium, and then they started talking about philosophy, and that's pretty much how Stoicism started, with Zeno meeting up with Xenophon and going to the gymnasium and talking about life on the steps. And I just wanted to make that correction because last time I forgot his name, and I think I called him Patrick.
We just called him Patrick the whole time as a placeholder.
Yeah, yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
Some of the history nerds out listening to that will probably piss, but
that's why I just wanted to make it so you guys aren't screaming at the camera or screaming at the screen.
Yeah.
Yep. And Xenophon was pretty interesting too, because he was a general of a mercenary army, which meant they were paid to fight,
paid to kill.
Yeah, yep. And he was in what he's really famous for is the March of 10,000, because what happened to him was he went to Persia and fought in a civil war between two Persian kings. It was actually two brothers that were fighting for the kingdom of Persia, and the side that he was on lost pretty bad. So he was stuck in Persia, surrounded by enemies, and he cleverly and diplomatically got him and his 10,000 troops out of Persia safely. And it's really famous because he used his being a great general, and then being a great diplomat. So both,
right.
The sword.
He kind of had to be a jack of all trades in a sense to get his
because
army out of there. He couldn't just be a warrior.
Yeah, exactly.
He couldn't just be some diplomatic speaker either.
Yep. And also he had to be a great general because he had to influence his troops enough to make them believe that they could get out of this horrible situation, because they had to cross mountains, valleys, and everywhere they went, it was hostile territory. There was tribes trying to kill them. And some of the tribes, Xenophon made pacts with and diplomatically, and then other ones he just skilled in battle. Okay. And that's what he's really famous for his because the march took a year or something
for them to get out of there.
Yeah, to get out of there. So that's kind of Xenophon's story, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. We can fucking dive into him like a whole nother.
Yeah, definitely. Guy. That's a whole.
So he was one of. Would you say he was one of the founder of Stoicism too? Then, or not really, but he helped influence
He did.
He had influenced the birth of it, but
Yep.
he isn't really responsible for helping create it at all.
Yeah, and he's known as a Stoic. Like you could look at him as like
Yeah.
an old like Stoic, but he didn't like he's not really credited to like starting Stoicism. He's more credited to being this like great general that took the principles of Stoicism
Yeah.
and got his troops out of like danger.
Before Stoicism even really existed.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because I mean, he studied under like when he came back from this battle or like getting his people out of this like out of Persia. He came back and he studied under Socrates.
Okay.
So he learned about Stoicism and stuff, but he wasn't like a founder. Like we give like credit
Zeno
to like
or Marcus or a lot of those other guys.
Yeah, yep,
Okay.
Socrates and stuff like that. But without him, we probably wouldn't have Stoicism just because then Zeno wouldn't have grabbed
He wouldn't
that
have been
book.
so heavily influenced by it
Yeah.
and motivated to actually start it.
Yep. So, in a sense, you could say like he was. Like,
He was a core piece to the birth of it.
Yeah, he was a big piece of the puzzle, but he wasn't like one of the main pieces.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So it's pretty interesting. That guy's has a pretty interesting life.
Yeah. It's amazing how we all these people that aren't always credited with the birth of something, but they have a role to play.
Oh
in
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Like
Yep.
everyone has a role to play in life.
Yep. And it's all just being like piece of a puzzle to a larger picture, you
Yeah.
know? And sometimes like you can go through your whole life like not seeing that big picture, but then like when you're like dead, the kind of picture gets revealed. Like in sense,
Right,
like
exactly.
a doctor that's like spending his whole life trying to find a cure, but doesn't like find it. But his work was like a stepping stone for someone else to
Yep.
find that cure.
That's everything it is.
Yeah.
Even like think of all the errors and all the troubleshooting from failed like doctors like practice on there. And then when a new doctor comes along, they know what's been tried already
Yeah,
and
yep,
doesn't
yeah.
work. So they don't have to spend that time anymore.
yeah.
Trying these different techniques
Yep.
that other doctors use.
Yeah.
And like going back to like how Stoicism, what makes me think of like it helps you find where you fit on the puzzle. You're just a small piece in this giant puzzle. Like we all are as humans. And I think Stoicism is so easily to relate to because there's something inherent like that we all have inside us that makes us want to fit on that puzzle somewhere.
Yeah.
When we feel when it's like when you feel that sense of being lost and confused and not knowing where you are, it's because you're still trying to figure out where the fuck you fit on that puzzle.
Yeah, yep. You're still trying to find like your purpose, you
Yep.
know, and it's once you find your purpose, then like, life becomes a lot easier. And I think like Stoicism really helps with that because it kind of teaches you to ignore everything else and then kind of allows you to dive in and like find what your real like passion, your real purpose, your real like goal in life is.
Yeah.
And
Just focus on your surroundings.
Yep.
And like your goal, like if you ask people what their passion or goal is, a lot of them's going to be like football player, singer, some form of like entertainment. Like there's nothing wrong with being a garbage man. There's nothing wrong with being a bartender or server.
Oh, yeah,
There's
it's
nothing wrong with,
yep.
being a programmer, whatever it is that you do. That's not like a very flashy,
Yep. Sexy.
occupation or
Yeah.
sexy like job. Like
Yep.
that's okay. Like we wouldn't have made it as far as we have as a civilization if everyone was going to be entertainers.
Oh yeah. There's such a small like portion of our society that are actually like entertainers and like have that sexy job, and then everybody else has like the job that keeps the world running.
Right.
And it's like during the pandemic, it was what were they called? The not essential workers or
essential work.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
essential workers.
Yeah.
The people that like the only people that are basically allowed to work to keep things moving.
Yep. And it's like that's like any society needs that even more than they need the entertainers.
And those people weren't even making as much as people like me sitting on their ass getting stimulus money.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
That's a whole nother topic.
There's a lot of that
Yeah.
too. Yep. There's a lot of fraud and stuff too, but that's a whole different story. But it's it's don't think that like your job, just because it's maybe you don't feel like it's that important, it is important.
Yeah, and
like,
it doesn't mean it's not your purpose either.
Yeah, and
like play your role in nature.
yeah, and then also if you don't like it, like take the lessons from Stoicism and change it. The courage, the temperance, the wisdom. Take all that and go and change your career if you don't like it. It's there's nothing wrong with being having that job that you don't like, but to a point, because I was just talking with a friend a couple days ago, and he was just like, man, I freaking hate my job. It's freaking miserable. Yeah. And I was like, well, why are you still there? And he's like, man, it pays so well. And I was just like, well, that's the trade-off then. And it's like, you got to find a good trade-off when you're working. And like I tell my nephews, it's like, when you're looking for a job, there's like a few things you want to look for. And it's like, it's either you find a job that you absolutely love, that you're passionate about, that doesn't pay well, or you find a job that you hate and you can't stand, but it pays extremely well.
Right.
But like the absolute worst thing is to find a job that you hate and doesn't pay well.
Yep.
Like, what do you do?
I did that for many years.
Yeah,
I did the third option for a while.
No, it takes a while to realize, like, what am I doing, And then ideally, like the best situation, like the best out of the best, is to find a job that you're absolutely passionate about and you love, that pays well. If you can find that, then you got it made. Like you found the hack in life.
Yeah.
Yep. And you could tell people that have that job where, like, I went to the zoo a couple days ago and I was talking to like the zookeepers, I guess. Or I don't know what their name, I don't know what they'd be called, but and you could just tell that they were so passionate about their job
because they love animals.
Yeah,
you kind of
exactly.
have to. There's certain jobs like zookeepers, teachers.
Yeah,
there's a lot of those like jobs that going into it, you're not going to make a lot of money, but you still choose to get in that field because that's what you're passionate about.
Yep. And it's like one of those things where like find something that you love and you don't have to work a day in your life. And like I realized that like that was my kind of that was my life, like when I started personal training. Yep. Like because I was bartending for a while and I was just in that part where I was working that job I didn't like, but it paid well.
Yep.
And then
it's easy to get stuck in bartending hell.
Oh yeah, it really is.
Because you're making so much more money than you would anywhere else. But then pretty soon 10 years goes by and it's like,
what am I doing?
Yeah, you're in your 30s, pushing 40. And
and that's where I was.
Always working every weekend, not getting holidays. When you get to the point like, for me, when I had a kid, that's when I realized, okay, I got to make some moves here. Because bartending just isn't, that schedule isn't suitable for raising a family.
And you were working a corporate job too when you
at the beginning of it. I wasn't making that much at the time, making a lot more now, but that was when I had first started over there.
And then when you had your kid, did you decide like I'm gonna climb that corporate ladder more, or like that's gonna be my focus?
My day job definitely became my focus because I had people depending on me.
Of course.
Now at that point, so now I have to like that. Those are sacrifices that I have to make because my wife deserves that and my kid deserves that. So it doesn't matter if I'm feeling depressed if I don't like my job because they're counting on me. And at the same time, that puts a fire under my ass in a good way. To go and work my day job and like continue to climb that ladder and make more money for them. Now, is it ideal? No. That's why I'm still doing these podcasts with you early in the morning and chasing my other passions on the side. I've learned, as busy as I am, raising a kid, spending quality time with the family, and working 2 jobs. Like I said, it's 7:30 in the morning right now. You find time. If you want it bad enough, you'll find time.
Oh yeah, with anything, like if you want it bad enough, you make time, and it's if anybody tells you like, they don't have time and stuff, it's just because they don't want to.
Nobody's busy 24/7. I'm sorry. You're not. You're just like people who say that just aren't good at time management.
No, for sure.
Is what it is.
Usually they like sleep more than they like working, I guess. And then and that's super commendable because I mean we all know those guys that usually like some kind of labor job where they have a family and they go into this job that,
they hate.
They hate. They hate. But they do it to provide.
They love being providers.
Yeah, I was going to say they love like being able for their kids to eat, have a nice house, have nice warm clothes and all that stuff. And then that makes going to that shitty job, waking up early, going to that job makes it all worth it, knowing that, those kids are in a nice school, they have a roof over their head, all that great stuff. And that's like, you can find your passion in there, just being a provider, that's a great passion.
Sometimes
right
your
there.
purpose is being a dad or a mom.
Yeah. Yep.
Like when you think about when people say, I don't know what I'm meant to be in life. Like sometimes just being a good parent is one of the best fucking things you could achieve in this life.
Yeah. And then,
Marcus Aurelius, from what I've heard, a lot of these Stoics guys, they were not good fathers, actually.
No, well, a lot of the Roman,
all the Roman emperors were not good fathers. All the big, time male spiritual, male leaders were not good fathers.
And I think it's, at least with the generals or the emperors and stuff, I just don't think they had time.
Yeah,
they were so busy. And we just talked about finding time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's just these guys were so
Well, that's
busy.
why his son ended up being a piece of shit, probably.
Yeah, yep.
And
And
his
also,
dad was never around. And how many kids did Marcus have? 7?
yeah, he had
Around a lot.
Well, he had a bunch, but a lot of them died. Because Marcus and his wife had 12 kids, but only 2 or 3 made it to adulthood.
Jeez.
Yeah, yep. And that's another thing that Marcus talks about a lot in his book is accepting loss or accepting hardship. Because the dude lost 10 kids or something,
Right.
and then he just had
And
to,
he still just kept moving on.
Yeah,
somehow.
yep.
And it's not like he forgot about those
No,
kids,
for
but
sure.
you have to accept it.
Yeah,
And
yep.
losing a loved one is one of the most traumatic experiences in your life,
Oh.
especially if you lose multiple loved ones.
Yeah.
There is no healing from it, but it changes a person, and there's definitely a new normal for those extremely traumatic
definitely.
ones. But you have to find a way to deal with that loss.
Yep. And
You have to.
No, yeah, it will ruin your life if you don't. I have a friend that just lost her dad, and she wasn't close with her dad growing up, and then the last 5 years they became really close.
Yep.
And then he passed, and it's been a couple years, and it's well, when it first happened, she asked me do you ever get over it, or does it ever get
Better.
easier or better? And I told her one, you'll never get over it.
Right.
It's something that you don't get over. And then 2, it's it becomes easier as time goes by, but it's always difficult. It's time heals all wounds, but that wound is always going
The
to be
scar is
there.
still there.
Yeah, yep. And it's I told her and because I lost a really close friend too, and it really changed my life and stuff. And one thing that helped me get past it or make it better, because again, you don't get past it or get over it, but one thing that made it a lot better is I'm gonna live a life that he can be proud of. Say I don't believe this, but say he's up looking down at me and watching my life. I want to have a life that he's up there being hell yeah, dude, good
Right.
ups, man. You're doing it, dog. And I want to make him happy,
Right.
And if you could do that, I was telling my friend, that lost her dad, do something that would make your dad really proud of you,
Right.
And whatever that is, if maybe climb a mountain or start a business.
Yeah.
or-
What dreams did he have? What are things that you
and
guys talked
what did
about?
what did he want to see in you?
Your loved ones don't want to see you spiral down into darkness.
No,
after
definitely
that.
not. Yeah, definitely not. If they were up in heaven looking down at you, the last thing they would want to see is you ruining your life, because of their passing. But again, I mean, it takes time. If anyone
does.
that's lost someone recently, that wound is huge and it's deep.
Yeah.
But believe me, after time, it does get better.
Right.
And
like you said, there is no getting over it.
Yeah.
If you lose a brother or a family member, you're never going to get over that.
Yeah, yep. And I think even Marcus has a quote about like when someone passes, it's like we honor them, like we want to honor them,
and that's the best you can do. Never forget them. Well, you probably would change the rest of your life, but how can you honor that person?
And like don't make their death or their passing in vain, like make it not worth something, but make something great because of it, take that pain and like mold it and make it something great, and that's how you can like make that make it easier, make that pain a lot easier. And then I don't want to say like then you start like seeing like not the good side, but like you start realizing like everything happens for a reason, maybe like
as much as it sucks to fucking say that when you lose a loved one, it's like a strong cope mechanism, like everything's happened for a reason, but
it really doesn't, but I mean, and it's but if you take that mentality and you like use that to change your life,
it's forging the mindset somehow with it.
And it's I don't know how we got on that topic, but it's just let time go by and try to honor that person if you know they pass.
We got it by talking about how Marcus has lost his kids and just dealing with loss and loved ones
and kids and stuff. And it's funny because like one reason Marcus like Commodus, his son, was like such a piece of shit is because he knew he was going to be emperor from like his birth, because Marcus was one of the first, like, because before Marcus, the emperors were like handpicked and they were like groomed to be emperor. Like it wasn't a bloodline. Usually it was like the emperor would pick a couple kids, like 3-4 kids from a like a noble family.
Okay.
And then those kids would go to school and study war, study philosophy, study, all these things that would help them be an emperor. And then when the emperor was on his like deathbed or like getting close to like the end of his reign, he would pick his successor. And Marcus fucked up where he he didn't go that route. He told Commodus and told everybody that Commodus was going to be the emperor. Like
that's his son.
Okay. Right away. So Commodus grew up in the palace, like as a kid, knowing he was going to be emperor. Okay. So like you're going to be a brat.
So why did he break that cycle?
Nobody really knows.
Like, it sounds like a big F up by him for a guy who's just so like. And who has so many virtues and it comes to doing the right thing. Like, what did he have a sense of pride that he wanted his son to take his place? Maybe did he view his son as like thought he would be a better person?
I think he, like we were talking like being a good father. I think he wanted to be a good father. So he wanted, because Commodus grew up in the palace and then he like became a freaking brat in the palace. And then when he was old enough, when he was like 15 or 16, Marcus started taking him on campaigns against like the Germanic tribes and stuff like that in Germania. And Marcus thought that like he could be a great father and, like raise this kid to be a great emperor.
Yeah.
But Commodus, didn't like, he liked the palace life more than the campaign life of being on campaign. So I think Marcus, his idea was like, I'm going to raise this kid and I'm going to be a great father to him. I'm going to show him like what campaign life is, what virtues, all this great stuff. And then Commodus just didn't listen or just didn't care or didn't like take anything in. And he was, because like right when Marcus died, Commodus pretty much like ran back to Rome, to like the palace, to live that like luxury palace life,
bang whoever he wants, eat whatever he wants. His son was not a stoic guy.
No, definitely not. And no temperance, no justice.
Now, was Marcus around in his childhood a lot? Because it sounds like he brought him to war, but in the early stages of Commodus's life, Marcus wasn't very present.
And that's where he kind of probably fucked up, because he wasn't there in like the kind of most crucial developing, like when you're a kid,
Right.
like from like, 3 to like 10 or something.
I'm going through it right now. They're
Yeah.
saying like 16 months to 3 is like so important when it comes to like how they learn, how you
Attachment,
discipline them, everything.
Yeah.
Like that's really important. Now, that's not to say if you had a fucked up upbringing that you can't rewire your brain whenever you want, but it becomes a lot difficult. Do things right the first time, but that's also not on you. It's not.
No,
it's on your
definitely
parents.
not. And it's like when you're like, what was it? How many months to?
I believe they say 15 months to 3 years. I think it's like really that's when their brains kind of like is at that developmental state where they can actually learn, know, and you can start disciplining them.
And
they figure out how to learn things and
when
whatnot.
they start absorbing everything. And it's there's like a crazy like fact that it's like your mind, like when you're adult, your mind uses about 20% of your calories, but when you're a kid, when you're that age, your mind uses about 60% of your calories.
Damn.
So that's just like your brain is just going haywire.
And it's just a sponge, dude.
Yeah,
like
it is.
trying to learn something now when you're older. It's like I gotta delete some stuff. For sure. Gotta make some space.
Yeah, it's that old saying: can't teach a old dog new tricks. And it's like obviously, you can. We're humans and stuff. We can learn, but it's so much harder.
It's just more difficult. Like I changed careers, as you know. Like when I was 30, I was bartending the whole time, and I got into computer programming, like a tough field to get into. People go to school for a long time.
People like start as kids with that.
And I'm still struggling. But you know what? But I had enough space up there to figure it out. Yep. And you could say 30s like borderline, like okay, I'm still young enough where I could switch careers, that I've been pretty healthy and whatnot.
Yeah. Yep. And we're humans, and I think like you could switch careers at any age. Like you're never too old to change your life,
There's some people who start acting
sometimes harder.
Yeah, people don't start acting until they're like 40s or 50s.
Yeah,
I want to say like Denzel, some of those really famous actors, they didn't start acting until way later.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Morgan
50
Freeman
or something. Yeah, yep. And it's just you just have to.
You have to
like
want
the principles of Stoicism. You have to have the courage. You got to have the temperance, like the self-control. You got to have the emotions like under control. And then like if you go into like any endeavor with those principles of like, what's just for me, what's just for other people, courage, wisdom, temperance, like it's going to make that path so much more easy, if you're not scared, you're not willing to take in the information, all that stuff.
You care less what people think about you as you get older.
Yeah.
I think that has a big part to do with it.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, yep. And it's like I worked in the oil fields, and you saw like a lot of old people, or not old, but like people that were changing their careers, and like not like people that lost their job and then would come out to the oil fields to try to like get
back on their feet.
Yeah, get back on their feet, make a quick buck and stuff like that. And you could always tell like the people that kind of had the Stoic principles and opposed to like the people that didn't. And the people that didn't were just miserable to be around, were miserable to be around themselves, they just hated their life. And, and then you could tell like the people that, this wasn't their first option, like just like me, it wasn't my first option, but I'm there. I might as well work hard. I might as well do the work. I might as well learn it. I might as well meet people, have a smile, and make the best out of it,
Yeah. One of the great quotes is never be afraid to be the dumbest person in the room, because that gives you the most opportunity to learn. That's how I view it at my day job.
Yeah.
Too, so anytime, because it can get intimidating when you get in those fields like programming or any like the oil rigging. You're surrounded by all these smart motherfuckers that know what
people
they're doing.
People have been doing it for years and years.
You don't know shit. Like, just view that as like you have more room to grow than anyone else around you.
Yeah,
think of it that way. They're all in a sense they plateaued.
Yep. And it's like a lot of like bosses, they would rather take someone that's like more fresh and more new than someone that's been doing it for years and years and years, because they say that like the person that's been doing it for years and years is set in their ways. Like they're
complacent.
Yeah, complacent, set in their ways. If you teach them, like show them like a different way or how you want it done, they're going to like kind of fight you and be like, no, this is how I've done it, you know?
Well, this is how we've done it for 20 years.
So I'm not changing it. And then like the guy that is just coming in there fresh, he's willing to, you know, try everything. He's going to try it. He's going to, if he fails, it's not the end of the world. He's just going to, you know, come back to you and say like, hey, how do I do this? You know, how do I do that? So it definitely makes sense just having that like positive mindset going into something and not being afraid to fail at something, you know, and that just comes with experience. Like people can tell you that till the cows come home, but until you actually experience it firsthand, like you don't get it. It's, you're going to be so set in your ways until, you know, someone comes along and shows you a better way. Yeah. And then you're going to fight that way. You're going to fight it. And then you're going to do it. And you're going to realize like, oh shit, this is actually a better shit. And then, you know.
That's why I always feel like it's so important to remain youthful. Like as immature as I feel like I've grown up more than ever lately in the past 2 years. However, I still feel like there's still a part of me that feels like I'm a teenager. And I'm really grateful for that. And here's why. I think remaining curious is a great way to stay youthful. And when you're curious, you're open to trying those new ways still. It doesn't matter how long you've been working in the industry if you're still curious to try something new. Because those people are actually looking to get better.
Yeah, yep.
Like I do believe age, there's physical limitations to us, but it's also a mindset. Yeah. So even though I'm 33, I still feel like there's a part of me that feels like I'm a teenager and in my young 20s still.
Yeah. And it's like it's such a cliche saying, but like you're as young as you feel, or you're as old as you feel. And it's that really is true. And like being inquisitive and like curious, like that's how you become smart. Like it's
think
like,
how curious you are when you're a kid. Kids are, dude, your curiosity is at its peak.
Yeah,
when you're a child,
you're licking,
they don't know anything, they're touching everything. What does this do? What's that button do? Your curiosity is at an all-time high when you're a kid. That's why I feel like it's so important to keep a youthful mindset and keep that curiosity.
Yeah, definitely. And it'll just like. That's how you obtain knowledge. Like you're curious about something and then you like figure it or you like learn about it. And it's like, for example, like a clock, like a clock is such a crazy mechanism. And if you're like curious about like how a clock works, like the inquisitive mind is going to like open that clock and like look at it and look at the gears and see how it works and then like learn about it. But like I don't want to say like the dumb person or like the inquisitive mind is just going to look at a clock and be like, it just tells time. Like, I don't care, you know, like who cares what, how it works. And that's, that's how you become dumb. You know, you just don't like, like you like if someone's like, oh, how's that TV work? You're like, I don't know. But like the smart person is going to be like, oh, how does that TV work? Right. And then they're going to start doing research or like opening up that TV and then finding out, and then like Socrates says, like, it's like the Socrates dilemma is like the more you learn about something, the less you know about it. Yep. And that's why like knowledge is just endless. It's like you open that clock and you look at the gears and then you start like learning about gears and how gears work and how like a little one next to a big one moves that pin different than, two big ones next to each other,
Well, society has kind of got us trained to think that talking about how a clock works is boring and anything serious is boring. But talking about what Kim Kardashian did and whatever guys they're fucking and cheating on them, who knows, I don't even know how many times. Yeah. Like now, like we're trained that's more fun and socially acceptable to talk about when I had like a cocktail party or something than discussing how the clock works. Yeah. When like things like discussing celebrities, it's fundamentally hollow.
It's so worthless. Yeah. It's if like people are bullshitting about like celebrities or gossiping, I'd probably just like leave that conversation.
Try to have a serious talk about something. Maybe you don't have to be like asking, how does this go?
Yeah, for sure. But
you have my point. Next time you guys are out socializing, man, and this is big, like plays into like practicing like Stoicism and like it's getting away from these very hollow conversations.
Yeah.
When it comes to gossiping, when it comes to talking about celebrities or athletes. Don't get me wrong, I love watching football. I love watching the Vikings. I'm pissed out about them. Like I'm okay. It's okay to be like mindless and enjoy that entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. But just remember, like I tell like sports fans, it's like don't get too obsessed because at the end of the day, it has no effect on your life.
Yep.
Like the people that like cry and like ruins their whole week if their team loses.
It's also
like,
socially acceptable to sit on your ass and drink beer all day and watch football on a Sunday.
Yeah, and it's
you're throwing a whole day away. You
exactly.
Be putting towards your business, working out, whatever. But it's acceptable doing that.
Yeah. So, and I understand for like the guys that work freaking like 40, 50, 60 hours a week, like construction, and then on Sunday,
that's
they
their
just
day.
relax.
They're ready. They're ready to throw the game on.
You deserve that. Yeah, for sure. But again, like just enjoy it in the moment. Like don't take it to work the next day. Like if your team wins or loses, don't like make that your identity because like we said, at the end of the day, it has no effect on your life. Like besides that quick, like in the moment joy or pain, but don't I can't stand when people are in bad moods because their team lost.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, you have no, like, who cares? Why are you why is that affecting your mood? You know, it's like, I mean, I understand if you lost a bunch of money or something, or you got a bunch of money, but that's different. If you're just watching the game,
right?
I
really like the saying, "We are what you listen to." Also, you are what you eat, but you also are what you listen to. So when you're having these conversations that like feel very hollow, you're listening to that knowledge, and like pretty soon your conversations are going to become hollow. The way you think's going to become hollow. The way you live your life is going to become hollow. I challenge you all. Next time you go on like a dinner date, party, whatever socializing event, and they're talking about some meaningless shit like celebrities or sports, try to shift the conversation to something a little more. There's something that has more substance.
Yeah. And it
doesn't have to be like, what's the meaning of life?
Right.
Anything like that.
Yeah. But I think another reason we talk about the celebrities and all this like meaningless stuff is because we're scared to open up.
Yeah.
We're scared to be vulnerable.
Society's got us trained that way.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that.
Yeah. Because if you have a in-depth conversation, like with someone, like you're going to be vulnerable. You're going to open up. You're going to tell them about your losses, your wins. And that's the meaningful stuff, and sometimes like people are scared to tell you about their losses, about their sadness.
People got walls up. People, especially people who went through extreme trauma, they have their walls up. They put this wall up and they don't allow anyone else to get close to them.
And then that's why they fill that conversation with just meaninless
shit. That's why they get obsessed with sports. That's why they get obsessed with just dumb shit.
And it's like obviously know the people that you're like with and stuff, because you don't want to just open up to anybody and everybody. But like if it's your friend and like, or if it's like a good coworker or something, don't be scared to open up, because if worst case,
you go closer to a person.
I was gonna say the only thing that'll happen is it'll make that relationship closer. Like it'll make that relationship stronger. And it's okay if they don't reciprocate, because some people get like, they're so scared that like if they open up, then that other person doesn't open up, and then they feel like they're just out there alone,
Right.
And that's okay. Don't worry about that, because it's like telling people about like your ups and downs. That's life. Everybody has ups and downs, and don't be ashamed to tell people, about your downs and your ups, and most people they like to hear about stuff like that. It's like people, like if you have a friend or like a coworker, they like to get to know you. And the best way to do that is just to be open with someone.
And like you said, like I want to go back to really like hit on the head, like express your feelings without expecting any reciprocation.
Yeah.
Like that's what I tell my friends all the time when I think about telling a girl that they love them. This is what I actually told my stepdaughter too. Mm-hmm. I was like, after I had a kid and got engaged to her mom, I told her, I was like, hey, just so you know, like, I love you as a daughter and I view you as a daughter now. And like, I want, just like I'm responsible for Isla, I'm also responsible for you right now. And I was like, awesome. I was like, you don't have to say it back. You don't have to say I love you. You don't have to be like, oh, I view you as a dad. Like, I just want you to know that's how I feel about you. And that's how I view our relationship with you right now. Like, and I wanted to tell that, not expecting any sort of reciprocation or really anything back from her. And like if you're someone who's like dating someone right now, or maybe you're in the same position of me and you got stepkids and you need to take on that responsibility and you want to tell them that you love them, but don't expect them to hear it back. And don't get upset if they don't say it back either. Because then it's like, then it feels like you're doing that to gain something.
Yeah, just to hear it back. And that's beautiful. And it's don't expect it, to be reciprocated. And like with you just saying that to her, like made your relationship stronger.
And that's how I truly feel about her too. And like I was like, hey, I love you as a daughter, but you don't have to say that back or even tell me how you view me as. But I need you to know that. Like,
and like when you're opening up and stuff like that, another big part is just be genuine, you know? Don't like say something to play on someone's emotions or, because you think they might want to hear it or something like that. Just be genuine. And then like people can kind of feel that.
Let them develop those feelings for you organically. Like, don't try to like strong arm someone to them saying "I love you," and that goes for any type of relationship. Even when you're in a romantic one, and don't be afraid to be the first person to say "I love you."
I was gonna say that's a big problem in relationships. It's like nobody wants to be the first to say "I love you," and it's like that's sad. Why? It's like for me, it's like it'd almost be a race to like who says it first, because it's like you want to reach for that goal. You want to reach for like that love, like once you hit like that level of the relationship where you're like, I love this person.
Right.
And I want them to know, like you want to tell them right away, don't be like, I love her, but does she love me? Well, I'm not going to tell her because
just get it out of there. It feels good. There's something about like telling someone you love them just because it's so genuine that even if they hate you or they don't love you back, it doesn't fucking matter. It is one of the best feelings ever to just get that out of your chest.
And that's unconditional love. Like unconditional love is like one of the most
word
true.
For it.
It's like the best, truest love you can find and you can achieve is just unconditional love, where there's no condition, nothing they could do, nothing they could say where you wouldn't still love them, and that's a lot of times that's parents, with like their kids, like, unconditional love of a kid, that kid could be a complete fuck up, but you're gonna love that.
Stab two people. Do anything.
Right. He's still a good kid.
Yep.
And that's
at
true.
the same time, parents, you got to take the blinders off every now and then too.
For sure. But I mean, you can love them, but be mad at them or be disappointed or upset and stuff like that. But that's that true love, that unconditional love is that's a beautiful thing, and it's hard to come by in relationships.
It's the only genuine love there is. It's the only type of love there should be.
Yep. Because it's like love with conditions. That's not really love. Then.
It's not. It's manipulation.
Yep.
That's what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. If you're just loving someone to get something out of it, that's pretty shitty. Yep. And you want to try to avoid that kind of love. And they also like, you got to look out for that kind of love too. And like kind of notice like the red flags of does this person like love me, or does
Right.
this person, or does
Oh, they're
this,
just saying what I want to hear.
Yeah,
Like,
yep.
there's some really good manipulators out there.
Yeah,
Like,
there are. Yep. And it's, some people have had to be that way since they were little, you know,
Yep.
because they didn't find love like at the house. So they had to manipulate, like,
find
people-
ways to get love.
Yeah, yep, to find love.
Whether
yeah,
that's
you know.
to buying someone something,
Mhm. Or
bending
just
over backwards
lying.
for
Yep,
them.
yep,
Yeah.
just telling them what they want to hear. Yep. And yeah, I try to kind of see that and try to avoid it, because that's love that's just setting you up for heartbreak, you know. And because that love doesn't last at all, you know, like
No.
that once the weather gets a little rocky or the road gets a little rocky, those people are out, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Stoics will probably love unconditionally more than any other type of man. Like,
Yeah,
on there.
I think so.
Like, one thing
'cause-
about Marcus, like, he never cheated on his wife, even though he could have literally banged anyone he wanted
Yeah.
to, being the emperor, like with the snap of a
yeah,
finger.
and his wife cheated on him a bunch.
Really?
He-
I heard that he never believed that, though.
He didn't believe it, like, but it was pretty well known that she was unfaithful, and I don't know if he just didn't believe it or he just didn't, like, he had like other shit to deal with,
Right.
and but
But maybe he loved her that much and he felt like he could trust her that much that he didn't care
Yep.
what the voices of others were saying to
Yeah,
him.
yep.
Because he knew that that would ruin him
yeah,
and his mindset that he has.
yeah.
Like, it depends. Like, if I was, someone just randomly told me that my wife cheated on me today, I wouldn't believe them.
Okay.
Because I trust.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? 'Cause I
yeah.
trust
You
her
know,
like that.
you know
I
your
know who
lady.
she is,
Yeah,
you know?
yep. And yeah, and that's maybe true too. Like with Marcus, where he just didn't believe. Because I mean, of course, they were just like rumors and stuff. I mean, everything back then was just kind of rumors,
Right.
unless you saw it firsthand, you know. And then also like there was a time where so the person that she was like supposedly cheating on him with, so Marcus got sick because he reigned during a plague. Like there's a huge plague during his reign, and he got sick with the plague, and they
That's how
thought
he died, right?
yeah, kind of. They don't really know. I think they think he just kind of died of old age and being like, yeah. But there was a time where everybody thought he was dead. So this guy that was like second in line, he was like a general too. He claimed, because he thought Marcus was dead, so he claimed the emperor, or he claimed to be emperor. He took the reign or whatever, and his wife, was like with that guy, like on that guy's side, like while he was like proclaiming to be emperor. And then they both found out, like at the same time, that Marcus was still alive, and they were like, "Oh shit!"
Like, damn,
yeah,
we thought-
we thought we were good. And then, so Marcus forgives both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's like,
Wow.
I knew, like, you guys thought I was dead, so like, you guys take it.
And in a way, that's kind of the right move for
it
him.
is, yeah. Because
Right?
I mean, why would you get mad if
he put himself in their shoes?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, and that's why he was like known for being such a great dude, because like,
He always
coulda-
looked at things from your perspective.
Yeah, he could have killed these people. Like, you know, he could have killed that dude right away. Like once he found out that like that guy tried to become emperor and
Yep.
stuff like that, but he was just like, dude, I understand. Like,
Yeah.
I get it. You know.
You doing because they were doing what he felt like he had to. Like
Yeah.
someone has to take his place.
Yep. And yeah, and like another thing why he was like such a great emperor is because so when he was growing up, he was like picked to be emperor out of like a noble family. I forgot the emperor that picked him. It was like Vespasian or something. I don't know. But he was picked, and him and one other guy were picked to like kind of be raised to be emperor, and they were complete opposites. So Marcus was like a skinny, kind of like lanky, like he got sick all the time. He was like really, like his immune system was really bad, and he was like a bookworm. He was always into books and stuff. And then his I guess you could say like his brother, his like half brother that he like was raised to be emperor with, was like this huge playboy. He was like super fit. He was a huge horse rider. He was a huge ladies man, and
everything Marcus wasn't. Basically.
Everything. Yep. And
Marcus was the nerdy kid. His brother was the jock. Starting quarterback.
Yep, exactly. And the emperor at the time knew that Marcus would be a better emperor.
Yeah.
So he picked Marcus, but like what usually happened then was the emperor would either kill his brother or like the guy that he came up with, because that was a rival. You know, that guy could start an army
war.
And start
like,
a war.
And then you have a civil war together, and your whole everything you built gets destroyed within.
Or they would cast them out of like society, you know. And what Marcus did was like, I'm not going to do either one, and we're going to reign together. Like it's going to be both of us reigning. And that worked for a little bit. And then I forgot what happened with that guy. I think he either like lost some battles, and then like people were just like, this dude is not it, like, and then Marcus like took over like his kind of portion, and then became like the single emperor. But like the crazy part is that Marcus like shared the empire with this dude. And it's like, it's such a stoic and noble thing to do.
He's like the most selfless guy.
Ever. Perfect. He was very selfless, you know. And it's because that was like the first time ever that when Rome started out,
two kings.
Like when Rome started out, there was two kings. It was like two emperors, and it was funny because they would only reign for like 6 months, and then there'd be like a vote, and then there'd be like two more emperors and stuff, and that's how they did it for a long time. And then Julius Caesar kind of changed that up, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna be like the single emperor. I'm gonna be like a king, like you know." And the Senate was like, "Nah, dog, no, you're not." And they killed him, and they assassinated him. And then for a long time, it was a civil war between like the two heirs. Like after that, Augustus and Mark Antony, and Augustus won, and then he was emperor for a long time. And then that's where you start to hear the name Caesar, where like Caesar means emperor. So it's you see a lot of Caesars, and then after a while, Marcus was the first one to be like, we're gonna go back to the co-emperors. So he changed the game up big time with doing that. But then he was like the only one, because after him, like it went back to everybody just kind of.
So everyone else is too selfish. They wanted to be king. They wanted to. They fell to the greed and all the demons.
They wanted.
That's a lot of temptation. Too much temptation when we can't even fathom.
And that's like another reason Marcus was such a outliner, because this dude had immense power. Think about, you control everything in the world, like the known world. You could drink as much wine as you wanted. You could bang. You could, do whatever you wanted. You could kill. And Marcus never took advantage of his power. You know, he was always like, you know, what's the best for everybody? You know, how can I help? And that's insane, because like I don't think
I could resist that temptation. Maybe I could now, but even then not on the level as he did it. Certainly not when I was younger. Fuck no.
And it's like, it's crazy, because even on campaign, like he slept, like he ate what the soldiers ate. He like slept. He slept in like a nice tent, but he only slept with like the blankets that the soldiers were given, you know. He didn't have like,
he put himself on the same level as them.
And that's why he was so respected too as a general. And like that's all the like great generals are the generals that can relate to their soldiers. And that's why like Caesar was such a great general. That's why like his army respected him so much, because Caesar would like dig the ditches with the army. Same with Alexander the Great. And like they would all like live with their soldiers, or like they wouldn't hold themselves higher than their soldiers.
Right. They wouldn't be in the warm, cozy bed while they're all freezing because they have some shitty thin blanket over there.
Yep, exactly. And
you got to show them like, I'm just as hard as you guys.
Yep.
And
there's a story of Alexander when he went through the desert, and there's a big debate whether it was on purpose or it was a mistake by him. But anyways, he was in a desert, and all of his men were like dying of starvation and thirst. And someone comes to him with like a bucket or like a helmet full of water, and he's on his horse. And the guy's like, "Oh, here, drink. You need to drink." And Alexander like picks up the helmet in front of all of his guys, pours it out, and says, "I drink when my troops drink," or like when my soldiers drink. Yep. And that's like super badass. Like, if you see your king or your emperor or your general do that, you're just
that gets you
go. Let's go. Yeah. This dude. Yeah, definitely.
That's when they all pull out their swords
Yep. And like,
that's when you get the Aru chant going.
Yeah, definitely.
Damn.
So that's why that's how you become
how you become a leader.
Exactly.
And that's how you get your people to choose you.
Yep.
And not forcing it on them.
And you can see that now.
Unconditional following.
Yep. In the corporate world too, I bet. You could probably see it between like bosses that are willing.
My director's great. I would say he's like Alexander.
Yeah, he's
great.
Alexander,
I don't know.
Yep.
There's a lot of, I work, Best Buy corporate, so there's tons of directors and bosses and managers.
For sure.
But my team on, dude,
that's awesome. And that's
I view my boss as an Alexander.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. And I couldn't imagine living under like a Nero or like a really bad emperor, like a really bad general.
Yeah.
And that's all about himself, and that makes you suffer while he's living that cozy life
and sending you out to die.
Yeah. Yep. And it's like you want to be a great leader, or a great boss, or be able to suffer with your troops.
Go through the same hardships as all your troops are and all your people.
Yep. Don't make them suffer by themselves, Yep.
It's gonna be fun. Damn, dude, that's an hour already.
Dang, man.
I know.
Go by so fast.
Quick here. Yeah. Let me as always. So I'll let you, I have to flip to this passage quick on here, but anything if you want to.
Yeah, it's
say anything.
Yep. And I'm just really appreciative of this podcast and all the fans that watch it, that take the time out, and because we love talking about this. And I think Stoicism is truly one of the best philosophies, and there really is a reason that it's been around for 2,400 years, and it's because in any situation, good or bad, you can take the principles of Stoicism. And just quick example, I went to a chess tournament. It was a real small tournament, but I went with one of my buddies, and he's really good at chess. This dude's like a chess whiz. But what I didn't like was he was playing people that weren't as good as him, and he was getting really cocky, and he was getting really arrogant and stuff.
Was he
kind
of making fun of them?
Yeah, he was talking. He was just oh well, if you do, why blah blah blah. And
just kick his knight over.
And I kept telling him bro, remember, be humble in victory and in defeat.
Yeah.
I kept kind of being bro, more humble,
It's like when my football coach, always just say when you score a touchdown, act like you've been there before.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just take that easy principle of, be humble in victory and in defeat, because you're going to go through both in life. And it's, I was just watching this dude, and I was just dude, you're better than this. Yeah, you're better than this, dude. Why are you? And then I was thinking dude, you're going to meet people that are going to wipe the floor with you.
Yeah.
You're at a small, little
small
tiny
local tournament.
Yeah. It's bro, chill out. So just, that's just an example of how you can use the principles of Stoicism in your everyday life. And let's hear this quote.
Okay, and then to send us off here, as always, we'll read a quote from one of the philosophers. So this one's by Marcus Aurelius. Erase false and fearful fancies by repeating to yourself, no evil, no desire, no disturbance of any sort can gain entrance to my soul except I let them. By seeing things for what they are, I can use them for what they're worth. Remember that nature has planted this power in.
Nice.
There it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that one. It's that's a great one, because I mean, we allow the fear and the
evil,
anxiety,
the desires.
We let them in, and like we let them you let them control yourself, and when you're like in that situation, when you're scared or like letting the kind of bad desires or whatever, just take a second and think like, hey, this is in my power.
Yep.
Like
we
I don't
allow
have to.
these things into our soul.
Yeah.
That's actually the only way these things can get into our head, is if we let them.
Oh, for sure.
That's what this passage is, what Marcus is essentially, saying.
Yep.
No, I only let evil's desires and desire and disturbances only get into my soul if I let them.
Yep.
And remember that we have the power in nature to plant them there or remove them.
Yep. And Marcus probably dealt with that all the time, because I mean, he was an emperor, so he had people criticizing him all the time, being like, "Yo, you've
people telling him that his wife's cheating on him."
Or
that's just, a good that passage really correlates to what we were talking about earlier, how he chose to reject those rumors that he heard.
Yep.
Were they true? I don't know. But he chose to reject them, and that passage kind of shows how he didn't let that into his soul.
Yep, and didn't let him ruin his spirit or his virtue. Yep.
And absolutely, dude. Well, as always, I encourage you guys, take this to heart. Try to practice your virtues every day, and we'll see you next time, and we'll discuss how to live a beautiful and meaningful life.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. It helps a lot. And we're just trying to get this podcast out there to as many people as possible. So a like and a subscribe helps.
That goes a long way.
Thank you, guys. Yep.